Greetings, Earthlings. Welcome to episode 19 of Urban Nerd Weekly. I'm your host, comedian and content creator, Spayce. On this week's episode, we're going to be getting into our usual recap of FX's Atlanta. We're going to also be talking about Mark Zuckerberg testifying in front of Congress this week, as well as Apple may be switching to using their own chips instead of using Intel chips, which is what everybody's using, so this is really monumental. So tune in and nerd out with your boy on Urban Nerd Weekly.
Style. Hey, it's your boy Spayce here, man. I got a new podcast out I want y'all to subscribe to, bro. It's called Urban Nerd Weekly, available on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play Music.
What's happening? What's trending? What's good, y'all? What's happening? What's up? What's good for it, though? What's up? I'm so glad you guys tuned in to this week's episode 19. Woo! For all y'all who've been riding along since episode 1, we have made it to 19, and you know what? We're gonna have something special for episode 20, so all my loyal listeners, I'm sure y'all gonna really be loving this one, especially with the kind of requests I've been getting for episodes and stuff to cover on the show. I definitely can't wait to hit y'all with episode 20 because y'all gonna love it. But right now, we in episode 19, and right about now, we gonna talk about the show we've been nerding out about the last couple of weeks, which is FX's The Return of Season 2 Robin season of Donald Glover's Atlanta. So, over the last couple of weeks, we've been noticing a little trend where each character of the show has kind of been getting like a solo kind of episode going on. We had an episode where it was just Van and Ern. They were up in Helen, Georgia doing a bunch of German shit. And then we saw the episode with Paperboy getting his hair cut and all of the follies and shit that went along with him trying to get that perfect trim. So, of course, as I predicted, the next episode was all about your boy Darius, which I'm sure everybody loved because Darius is a very much so a fan favorite. He's one of my favorite characters on the show. It was all about Darius. He was trying to get this really, really rare piano with some colored keys, and I must say, it did look pretty fucking sweet. So, I think that if I was really into pianos, I might have done this. I might have wanted it. I don't know if I would have done the same thing before, but I would have definitely probably been just as into the piano. All in all, he ends up at this mansion with this, what I could only describe as a parody of Michael Jackson type of millionaire type of guy. He was very eccentric and very strange, and some crazy shit went down in the episode. I mean, the dude was fucking loony. He had a brother and that's who the piano belonged to, was his brother, who was a big time piano player back in the day, wrote a lot of hit songs and shit like that, and he got some type of disease that made him get affected negatively by sunlight, and now he doesn't leave the house anymore. And his brother basically sits there and takes care of him, and I say that in air quotes because his brother's batshit crazy and he keeps him locked up in the fucking basement. All in all, Darius is trying to call, he ends up talking to Paperboy and Ern and, trying to just decide if he's going to stay to get it or not, but he's going to, he decided he's going to regret it if he walks away. So, of course, he tried to stay because it's a free piano. That's the hook. The piano was free as long as you could haul it off of the property. You get to have it for free, which is a pretty fucking sweet deal. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure any of us would kind of go for that if it was the right object. You know what I mean? So, tried to stay there just to get it. He finally actually does get the piano out the front door towards the end of the episode. And then when he goes back in, some crazy shit pops off. And the brother who's trying to sell it. And then I'm going to tell you right now, if you have not been caught up on the episodes of Atlanta, you should skip forward to 10 minutes from, not 10 minutes from now, but like the 10-minute mark of the show, probably. Or I'll just write in the notes when to skip over the spoiler alert if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah, the brother ends up fucking getting shot by the one who actually could play the piano, who owned the house and all that shit. The brother that was supposed to be taking care of the other brother. He finally fucking shoots him. And then ends up shooting himself right in front of Darius. I'm sure it fucked his head up. I wouldn't if I got no shit like that at all. And then because of those series of events, the police ended up having to haul the fucking piano off as evidence in the case. Ain't that a whole lot of nothing? Diggity damn, as we used to say in the 90s. So that was last week's episode of Atlanta. And technically it's like last week's, because this week's episode has already come on. I'm going to cover it in episode 20, of course. But I like to keep things in sequential order with you guys so we could properly nerd out on this shit in the correct timeline, chronological timeline. I feel like, that makes nerding out a lot more organized and whatnot. So, if you guys had some favorite moments in the last episode of FX's Atlanta that you really like, that you feel like maybe I should have mentioned in the show and you want to discuss, make sure you drop a comment on the SoundCloud page for Urban Nerd Weekly at soundcloud.com/Urban Nerd Weekly, or you can hit up spaycewashere.com, SPAYCEWUZHERE.com, and you can get up on all the episodes. Leave a comment on the website, as well as join the email list, man. I can't stress the point of joining the email list enough. It makes fucking with your boy just so much easier, man. You get a boop little notification in your email, boom, right then and there every time I post up a new blog post. Plus, whenever something crazy is going on, y'all can get an update on that too. So, make sure you do that, especially when I start selling merch, because everybody that's subscribed to my email list, as soon as my store opens, everybody's going to get one free item from the store. I'm going to call it the Urban Nerd Loyal Listener, the Urban Nerd, Premier Program. That's where all of my loyal listeners, for every episode, if you've been fucking with the show for 4 or more episodes and you've joined the email list of the show, the day that my merch store opens, which will be called Merch by Spayce, so be looking out for that. When the merch store opens, you guys will be privy to one free item in the store. Now, I'm going to lose a lot of money on this shit, but I'm willing to definitely reward all my loyal urban nerders out there. You feel what I'm saying? So make sure you join the email list. Drop some comments. Let me know that you're listening to the show, so that way I know exactly who to bless with this free-ish when I open up my store, man. So stay tuned. On to the next piece of news. If you've been listening to the show, you already are a bit familiar with this particular story, as we've been following it for a couple of episodes. You could get a little bit of the beginning of it on you could get the beginning of it on, what is the name of that episode? The Nerd Book. You can also get the next part of what we covered, where the heat really got dropped off on, was Mark Zuckerberg, and then we covered it quite a bit in Social Nerdia. So make sure you check out those episodes, and we'll leave a link to those episodes in the blog post containing this episode right here. If you guys want a quicker way to find the episodes, I'll have a link for them in the blog post at spaycewashere.com. So make sure you check that out there. But on all those episodes, I dropped a lot of info to lead up to this particular part. I didn't know this was coming. I didn't even know that they were actually pressuring the Facebook CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, to testify in front of Congress until I read a blog article that said he finally agrees. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know they needed him to. I felt like the Facebook post he put up was sufficient enough. It gave me all the information I needed to know what the fuck was going on. But you know how Uncle Sam is. They gotta do all the, stick their finger all up in your ass and see what's really going on, what kind of shit you really got going on. You know what I mean? But all in all, we started in those episodes. So if you want to start the story, check out those episodes. But all in all, the often controversial CEO of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, headed to Capitol Hill on Tuesday and Wednesday of the past week. After agreeing to answer to the feds, the world's youngest billionaire was in for 2 days of explanations. Marky, you got some explaining to do. So on Tuesday, day 1, that was the day that he was in front of a joint hearing of Senate Judiciary and Senate Commerce, Science, and Transportation Committees. On Wednesday, which is day 2, he was sweating it out in front of the House of Energy and Commerce Committee. The main points of the discussion were Facebook's privacy policies, that's, what specifically occurred during the Cambridge Analytica incident, which affected 87 million users' data, which that's a lot more than I've been fucking reading the last couple of weeks. That's a lot of fucking people, folks. Is there is there even that many people in America? I don't know. I should have looked that shit up for the episode, but that's a lot of fucking people. And also, the Russians' allegedly relentless attempts to use Facebook to interfere with the American political system. Now, before the broadcast of the testimony, the House Committee released a prepared version of the testimony that was filled with mostly information that any of the followers of this story or the Urban Nerd Weekly listen to already read in Mark's Facebook posts and over the blogs and, news articles that have been coming over since all this, debacle has been gotten started. You know what I'm saying? Also, the biggest thing that I noticed is that there's going to be more detail on exactly, how Russia's Internet Research Agency specifically reached millions of citizens with propaganda without spending very much money on Facebook ads. That's kind of shocking, right? It's a lot. I'm a content creator. I know a lot of content creators and publishers that find it very hard to reach that many people without eventually, breaking some bread on ads on sites like on sites like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and so on and so forth. Even SoundCloud and Spotify have ad programs where you can serve your ads on their platform. It's a very user-friendly way. And it's very, very hard to reach a lot of people without spending a lot of money. So, but at the end of the day, this is coming from an organized political organization, allegedly, meddling in things of this sort. So they would have a lot more resources to go to before they had to spend a lot of money on the Facebook ads. But all in all, it's just really, really shocking. He basically had, Uncle Sam like, hey, Marky, what the fuck's going on, kid, And here's the insane part. I've been mentioning, the fact that, Facebook kind of has the target on its back because it's the biggest dog in the park. I was about to say pond. Who the fuck says biggest dog in the pond? That's like saying sharpest spoon in the drawer. Who the fuck? I'm different. My mama said I was special. But I didn't think nothing of it until I say shit like that, and I'm like, oh, that's what she was talking about. That's what she meant right there. But all in all, they're Mark and Facebook are definitely the first to get hit. But Mark won't be the only one. With Twitter and Google having similar business practices and vulnerabilities, it's only a matter of time before the heat gets turned on to Amy Klobuchar and Mark Warner. I should have looked up the pronunciation of that lady's name. I just butchered the shit out of that. And that's such a personal thing with me because, my real name is Chauncey. And I hate when people get that shit wrong. I'll say the word, man, my name is Chauncey. Johnson? No, it's Chauncey. Chelsea? No, it's Chauncey. Charlie? Bitch, fuck it. Just call me Spayce, okay? Just keep it simple. Just call me Spayce and call it a day. You know what I mean? But I think it'll be very, very interesting that after all these, federal hearings and, speaking in front of the feds and shit, how it's gonna social media is changing so much this year. It's really crazy because when I was in high school, it was this new thing that just us teenagers were using, and now as I get older and older, it's kind of like that cool thing that we figured out, and then the grown-ups got a fucking hold to, and now it's just turning into this fucking thing we gotta deal with and shit now. They're changing it all up. It's not the same at all. But that's all we have for, the Mark Zuckerberg testifying in front of Congress. If you want to catch video, I will also post video of his testimony in the blog post for this episode, so that way you guys can check all that out in one convenient little post. I'll have also links to things that I can't get video to. And I'll have some supporting blog articles from some more credible sources, so you guys can get a better handle on what exactly is being discussed. Because it's a lot of shit to talk about when you talk about privacy policies and how fucking a foreign government was able to utilize your platform to basically influence the masses of America using fucking propaganda and shit. That's a real motherfucker, boy. So I'll make sure I post up all that shit in the episode so you guys can get a fuller grasp. And make sure you drop some comments and we can all kind of follow the story together and see what the hell is about to be happening next. Because Facebook is basically like the living room, and now Uncle Sam is coming in. We don't know what it's like Facebook is that drug dealer, and the feds fucking finally kicked his door in, and now the neighborhood is getting shitted on. You know what I'm saying? That's what's really good right now. But that's all we got on the story now, and I'm sure we'll be covering more on it in the future. I'd also like to take a second right now to remind you guys that the show is available on pretty much any podcasting platform you can think of. So I'd love if you're not already subscribed. If you are subscribed, tell a friend. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe on your preferred platform: iTunes, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, and Blueberry, and so many more. And especially on the YouTube page, because that's also where I'm gonna be posting a lot of my vlogs and my skits and the videos that go along with all the parodies I've been dropping on SoundCloud over the past couple years, and all the ones I got coming up in the future. But, like I said, for the show, Urban Nerd Weekly, make sure you subscribe on all, whatever one of those platforms that you use the most. And if you're on iTunes or Google Play Music, make sure you rate and review the show, as well as comment on everything else. But make sure you leave reviews and rate the show on stuff like iTunes and Google Play Music, because it helps the show rank up. And then that's how people can discover this awesome thing that we got going on between us, you guys. It doesn't have to be a secret. We can tell the world about our relationship. It's totally cool. I love you guys for real. So, hop on it. Tell a friend. Whatever. Fuck with your boy, man. But, now we got to get into the principal story today. The big kahuna. The one that, kind of really caught my eye for a couple of reasons. Because, I've always kind of felt like, I'm not a geek, so I'm not well informed on everything I should be when it comes to my interests, but I am a nerd and I do obsess about strange specific things. And one of those things was that whenever I use Apple products, or whenever I'm looking up stuff about Apple products, I always see that the operating system for a lot of stuff is, one thing, and the computers and the laptops are another thing, But basically, as the story's going, as early as 2020, Apple Inc. is planning to use its own computer processing chips in replacement of Intel technology in their Mac computers and laptops. The new initiative is apparently codenamed Project Kalamata. It's still in the developmental stages, but it's a part of a larger overall strategy to make all of Apple's devices work together more seamlessly and easily. The downside is that if these plans are actually executed, it's Intel who's going to take the hit. Apple accounts for 5% of Intel's annual revenue. So on the one hand, it's a bit of a shock because the partnership, you kind of surprised because, y'all been fucking with your boy, why would you want to cut us out of the deal, man? On one hand, it's a bit of a shock because the partnership between the two has been mutually beneficial. Intel revived the success of Apple's Macintosh computer line. And for Intel, it made it linked to one of the leading electronics brands. Now, upon the news of Apple's 2020 plans breaking, Intel stock shares have already dropped as much as 9.2%. That's the biggest drop in one day that the company's seen in 2 years. But on the other hand, however, from a business perspective, one could understand why Apple might want to make that kind of a switch. I mean, first off, they don't want to be heavily, relying and dependent on Intel's workflow seeing as how it currently determines Apple's product release schedule. They basically have to wait around for Intel to make sure they got their shit together before they want to drop what they want to drop. It's kind of like the issues that go along with a lot of the rappers and well, not just rappers, a lot of musicians in the music industry, period. You know, they have to, they pump out all this, they make all this music and they, you know, cranking it out, but they have to kind of slow down and wait for the label to want to do what they're going to do with the shit. You know, all iPods, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches, and Apple TVs use processors that are designed by Apple with tech supplied by ARM Holdings PLC. Putting that same technology in the processors of everything currently running on Mac OS will give Apple the cohesion it desires across the entire product line. One example would be that a musician who uses GarageBand on his iPad will have much easier time continuing their workflow on their MacBook if they so choose. The files changing software and hardware would be a lot more seamless, seeing as how they're running on the same processing technology. The move could be a defining moment for Apple also, because Intel is one of the last companies as an outsider to have anything to do with the major processor components inside of any Apple products. They would also be Apple would also be the only major PC maker to use its own processing chips, seeing as how everyone else currently uses Intel. So, this would be a really bold move for them. This will put them in an entirely different ballpark, and as far as their market share goes, it will put them that much further ahead of companies like Spotify and Apple, you know what I mean? Which is the ones that are the two closest behind them. I mean, it's still a good bit of distance between 1 and then 2 and 3, but at the end of the day, that's what's gonna put them over that hill to make them basically untouchable if all goes well. But I think that they should, reconsider and see if they can have Intel work on anything else. I think they should definitely show love. I mean, like I said, they helped revive the company. Basically, when the PC came out and became, so much more accessible than the Mac because of the price, it kind of made it harder for them to sell to the people they was trying to sell to. So, all in all, I think they should, think about that when they're making forward business plans. Maybe they could have them do something else in the company that maybe doesn't have to do with the chips. I don't know. That maybe, but that's just how I would do it. I don't run Apple. I'm running Urban Nerd Weekly right now. I'm fucking with you guys, so I'll let those guys make their decisions. As long as it don't make my shit cost more and I can produce the show at a relatively, decent amount of money like I've been doing, using Apple technology. Shouts out to Apple. They're not sponsoring the show, by the way, because you got to know if Apple was sponsoring this shit, y'all would see a commercial for this bitch every fucking 20 minutes. You turn your phone on. Fuck you saying. But that's all I got on that story. I'll have more details as more comes out. But like I said, those plans are for 2020, so that's a good 2 years from now. So we'll see how those plans evolve. A really interesting bit of rare, not rare, but odd nerd news is that there has been, quote unquote, the discovery of a new state form or state/form of matter called a superfluid quasi crystal, which basically does not fucking exist. That's why I put quotes around discovered a new element or a new state of matter, because it only exists in a phantom dimension that could not be inhabited or perceived by a human or their eyes. Or so what the fuck? Like, we just discussed this shit. Sounds like some kind of this shit sounds like it should be a part of cryptozoology, except it's not an animal. So, but it don't fucking exist. So why is the rule so strict about this shit? I don't know. I'm just spinning about it. And a random little bit of tune junkie news. Cardi B, who has been setting the world of hip-hop on fucking fire over the last year with the release of her song Bodak, ever since the release of her monster hit single Bodak Yellow. She's dropped a couple more hit songs with Bartier Cardi. She finally dropped her album this week, called Invasion of Privacy, which does feature Bodak Yellow as well as Bartier Cardi and a couple of other songs that a lot of her fans have been waiting for. And a crazy little twist of events, you know, Nicki Minaj has also just started rerunning up her promotion game, where the announcement of her new album coming out and 2 singles being released while she was on Beats One Radio. And that shit went to #1 on iTunes in a fucking day. However, some of the biggest news about Nicki is that there may or may not have been a couple of shots at Cardi now that her shit's about to come out. You know, there's been finally, you know, if you're a fan of DJ Academics like I am, you heard him over the last week covering the fact that he was absolutely fucking right 6 months ago when he was talking about how the song Motorsport was created and Nicki's original verse being taken off and the drama at Atlantic and them not releasing a lot of Nicki shit with, you know, songs with like Uzi and, you know, slowing down promo and Rack It Up with Yo Gotti and all kinds of stuff, man. And I just fucking girl fight real. You know what I'm saying? It's been crazy. However, that song that Nicki dropped, Chun-Li, that shit's kind of hard. Like, I ain't even gonna lie, she had bars on that shit. Not to mention the recent exposition of Cardi B having a ghostwriter, which no one's fucking surprised about. I mean, especially all my tune junkies out there, I know none of y'all surprised Cardi had a ghostwriter. I mean, we saw all of the writers listed as writers on Bodak Yellow, as well as another song that she had. So, you know, I mean, but that's just how the game is going these days. Everybody, you know, I mean, no one should be surprised. Ever since the signing of Bad Baby, a.k.a. Catch Me Outside Girl, a.k.a. Danielle Bregoli, you know, it's no secret that people are just snatching up folk. You know, these labels are now getting to the point where they're just trying to snatch up folks who got a lot of clout. You know, they'll get a producer for them, they'll get a writer for them, and they'll push the fuck out of that shit because they know how the system works. They know how to work that shit. So that's how the game is gonna go. But as far as everybody else knows, Nicki, you know, writes her own bars. Even with the whole fiasco with Safari claiming that he wrote a lot of her shit, in the end he confessed to the fact that he's never written a whole verse or a whole song for Nicki. So, you know, her name as a writer is still pretty much intact. You know, be interesting to see, you know, and on that note, I think, you know, as well, DJ Academics as well as me and a lot of other tune junkies, especially hip-hop nerds, can agree that definitely does not put Nicki and Cardi in the same category as far as comparison anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fact that, you know, she has a heavy ghost writing influence on her album and singles. So, you know, but no shade. I mean, Cardi be dropping that fire, bruh. You know what I'm saying? She's a great story to follow. You know, congrats to her on the pregnancy. Her and Offset's engagement seems to still be intact. And they blocking thoughts left and right trying to knock that shit out. So, I know this happened so fast because that's how I feel right now. It's like we're already here. It's already the end, guys. It's already the end of episode 19. I'm glad you guys tuned in. I'm glad you nerded out with your boy. Please make sure you guys tune in the next episode. It's gonna be a motherfucking awesome monster. I'm already loving it and I haven't even recorded it yet. So you guys gotta make sure you tune in again. Like I said, make sure you like, subscribe, wherever you at, listen to the show. Please follow me on all the various social medias, the Twitters, the Facebook, and the Instagram, and the Snapchat. Now, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram is just like everything else. Hashtag @Spayce was here. Add a .com to that. You already know you got my website. But it is Spayce was here. SPAYCEWUZHERE. And on Snapchat, you know my name is A1 Spayce, the letter A, the first letter, the number 1, the first number, Spayce. SPAYCE, A1 Spayce. So follow your boy for all my random fuckery going on my Snapchat. And make sure you guys follow and show support on all the other social media platforms, man. Make sure you guys, like I said, check out the next episode. I'm so like hyped about this shit. Y'all don't even know. You know what I'm saying? You know, keep keep your eyes and ear holes peeled for snacking off the mixtape, the parody tape coming real soon. I know I've been talking about this shit forever and a day, but I swear it's gonna be that crack and it's on the way. And like I said, there's a very special holiday coming up that this episode 20 is going to drop on the holiday coming up, as well as my very first original comedy song. It's gonna be a nice little piece of satire, and I can't wait to drop this shit on you guys. As well as I got a buddy that's been making some really fire fucking tunes lately, and we've been just vibing out to this shit, man, and I'm ready to drop this shit on y'all. So I'm gonna drop so next week's episode is already power packed. It's gonna be all about the holiday coming up. Gonna be dropping my very first original song, and my buddy is gonna let me drop his song as pretty much I'm gonna have the exclusive on that shit outside of SoundCloud. I'm gonna be the only podcast that had a song. So it's gonna be an epic episode, man. Make sure you guys tune in and nerd out with me. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, thanks for tuning in, you guys, and make sure you hit me up with questions and comments and everything about the show wherever you at. And my name is Spayce, but online, like I said, my name is Spayce was here because, see, the thing is I was here, but now I'm